From captivating audiences on stage to building a career defined by versatility, passion, and authenticity, Ryan James Monroe is a talent that theater fans have been paying close attention to. And on August 11th, he's taking the stage at the legendary 54 Below with Broadway's best and brightest stars and rising performers coming together for an unforgettable evening of music and storytelling. Thank you so much for being here, Ryan.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So you're about to perform at 54 Below. You're just a few days out from it. How are you feeling currently about this performance?
I'm so excited. I made my debut in New York 10 years ago at 54 Below as part of a showcase thing with my college. I went to Elon University and I sang one song, and I have not performed there since. I performed a lot of places since, but I've not performed at 54 Below since. So it's pretty surreal. Yeah, it's pretty surreal to return as the headliner. 10 years later. It's like I've been in New York for 10 years. It's a whole like 10-year moment, which is really exciting. But I'm feeling good.
Full circle.
Truly.
What was that first performance like? You said you got to sing a song there. What song was it? What was it like to be on stage at that moment?
That song was The Plane, which is a silly and fun song by Ryan Scott Oliver that I'd sung a lot. In high school, I sung a lot in college. Well, yeah, I guess I did. And it was pretty awesome because like I went to Elon University, which was in North Carolina, and coming to New York and performing in New York City for the first time at 54 Below was unbelievable. I mean, I was just talking to a friend the other day about like, I mean, I'm of the age where like, I remember when like YouTube began and like,
Sure.
I remember watching videos like of all these legends that were performing there, and you can tell because the background is iconic and it's like, you know exactly where you are. And so taking that stay, I was so scared. I was so nervous when I was 22 years old, I guess. Was it what I've been that? Yeah. And it was so exciting. I mean, I felt like a superstar. And so like to come back is pretty crazy. Yeah.
And now to headline your own show, I mean, that is a superstar moment in a way. I mean, every theater kid kind of dreams of going to 54 Below to put on a show.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, for sure.
So when you looking back, kind of were you've been singing since the first grade or studying musical theater since the first grade. What really sparked your love for singing and performing?
As cliche as it sounds, like the truth is, as long as like since I began to speak, I was singing. I was doing some sort of musicalizing. And my parents raised me in a very musical household. They were not musicians themselves, but they love music. And then going to the schools that I got to go to in St. Pete, Florida, like being surrounded by music, I started singing in the gospel choir. I wasn't religious, but somehow found my way there. And that was, learning how to just like feel the rhythm of the music, how to like improvise, how to just let your spirit inform what you're singing was really incredible. And
Sure.
It always just felt like otherworldly to me. It was like my escape. It was my retreat when things were hard. And then also like, again, not growing up religious, but like it is my form of spirituality. I started saying when I started doing shows in New York, I was like, when I'm singing, it's the closest that I can get to the universe, is how it feels to me. So it's always spoken to me on like a spiritual level, I guess.
One of the things I constantly say as a psychologist is that there is almost a religious experience when it comes to music. Like when you feel the music kind of move through your body and your soul, and it's so healing in different ways. And everybody kind of has a different thing that kind of heals from that. But yeah, no, there is that religious experience when it comes to music.
Yeah.
So what moment do you feel like did you realize that like performing wasn't just something you loved, but it was like who you were, or like it may be going to be something that you were going to pursue one day?
Really early in my life. I mean, I guess the second I learned that it was something you could pursue, which was again very early. Where I grew up in St. Pete, Florida. I'm repping it today. There were a ton of free concerts. There were a ton of there was a ton of access to music, and I was running up there are pictures of me and my younger sister like on stage with like a tambourine, and it always felt like that moment of community. And I didn't want to do anything else. Like it wasn't really because of where I went to school, I went to Perkins Elementary, and then I went to John Hopkins Middle School, and then the Pinellas County Center for the Arts. And all three of those schools, elementary, middle, and high school, were all public schools with great art programs. But you had to
Oh, awesome.
declare a major or a focus like as early as like
Really?
fourth grade. Yeah. So like I'm in fourth grade and we're dabbling in all of the different arts, but I declared a focus in drama. Like that was what I did. And so I was doing that in fourth grade and fifth grade. And then when I went to middle school, same thing. You had your major. And then in high school, you auditioned for the program and you got accepted to the program and you declare a major. And it's like you graduated from Pinellas County Center for the Arts with whichever degree in music theater, vocal, whatever. And then I went to school and I went to Elon and majored in that. So I think once like from a very early age, I was very serious about it. Like it was always very
Sure.
serious. Yeah.
That seems like such an like when you think about it, like who makes up their mind of what they want to do at fourth grade, and the fact that the school did that though, I mean, obviously it worked out, but like that had to be kind of intense as a fourth grade to be like, yeah, I guess I'm going to choose music, you know?
I don't remember it feeling intense. I remember it feeling really exciting. But then, like, as I've gotten older and gone out into the actual world and become an adult and like with a real adult things and gone into therapy and like unpacked my own nonsense, it it is pretty intense in hindsight, to think about that. To like, especially when it does end up being the thing that you're focused on. It's like, I mean, I would be curious to know how many people declared their focus in fourth grade and are actually like doing it or pursuing it. Um, I bet it's not a lot. Like that is such a like you don't know anything when you're in fourth grade. I just knew that it was fun. I knew that it was fun. I knew that I was good at it, and there was no question. It was just like that's what we're gonna do. Yeah.
That's really awesome though too that you knew at such a young age, because I'm thinking about fourth grade. I think I wanted to still be a spy at that time, like, and
I mean,
that clearly didn't pan out.
yeah, I wanted to be a spy forever. I wanted to be all of the things, but I landing at Perkins, like that wasn't one of the focuses. I had to
Sure.
choose something.
And you have worn so many hats throughout your career. You've done so many incredible things. You released an album in 2023. What do you feel like, which role or like what part of the journey do you feel has taught you the most about yourself?
Oh wow. I think hand in hand, I think moving to New York taught me a lot about myself and therapy.
I
I
appreciate that as a therapist.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not even just saying that because you're a therapist. I mean, when I moved to New York, I moved here a month after graduation from college
Oh
and
my
got a
gosh.
job working full time at a music school administratively, subletted for a year. So like didn't have like my own space for a year, and then got another job that I thought was a dream job in working at a huge off Broadway theater, again administratively, um, and finished my contract there and realized like, oh my God, I'm not doing the thing that I came here to do. Like this is not it. Um, and whatever fears that I had about like being a starving artist, I'm like, cool, well, I'm still starving and I'm not being an
Right.
artist. Like, so what's the truth? What am I actually afraid of? And then, I had that revelation in like October 2019, left my job, took that leap, fell on my face, and a pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So
That was a
I,
lot of events, right? Back to back to
it was a
back.
lot. And that's when I started therapy because it was time. It was time.
Sure.
And, spent a year unemployed doing my work on myself. And that was hard, but like it did and then like, got a job again, administratively, got another job that I still have today that like I'm literally at right now. And about like, I'm the head of operations at an off Broadway theater in my full time life. And like, so I
That's incredible.
tell people all the time that I work a full time job and I'm building a full time dream. Like, so it's constant hustle, and like 10 minutes before I got on this call, there was like a leak that I was dealing with. So it's like, it's not a
Oh
glamorous
no.
hustle, But it's like, but when I started working here, which is about 4 years ago, I was like, you know what? I did not come here to do this. That is still true. What I am not going to do is quit my job and be that um, impulsive, I guess. I mean, I'd thought it through, but it still was impulsive. So I was like, but I'm going to build it. I'm going to start to build my life as a singer, my life as a creative force. And I just decided, I was like, and I will figure out how to do it while working this full time job. I'll have my boundaries straight. And then I produced my first solo show in 2022. Um, and it sold out. And it sold out in like 8 hours. And then we added another show and that sold out. And then Time Travelers, my album, and Joe's Pub, that's, it's a long answer to your question. But what it taught me was, before I started performing again and like really getting into the hustle of New York, really taking risks on myself and my talent, I was asking everybody else for it. I was asking everybody else for permission to do it, to give me an opportunity to whatever. And they kept saying no. And it wasn't about performing. It was like I was trying to pursue arts administration. It felt stable. It felt safer. And I was sitting at some of the most like powerful tables in like some of the biggest theater companies doing everything right. And the answers were no, no, no. The second I said, I'm going to produce a solo show, it sold out in 7 hours. The second I said, I'm going to record an album, I raised through crowdsourcing like over $25,000 to produce it. And I said, I'm going to release it at Joe's Pub. And I did. And that sold out. And it's like, so that was the information to me that it's like, oh, right. I've known this for a very, very long time, that this is what I'm here to do. And it just took me some time and some work on myself to realize that I'm the person who's going to build that.
What I love about this so much is that I say all the time to people that, you don't always have to have the dream job, but you having a job to achieve the dream is also a reality, and that's okay. And I mean, I'm doing that as well, being a Broadway person, a critic, a podcaster,
Yeah.
and still having that job to do it. And so you're achieving your dream, and it's hard, and I can attest to that. It's hard to work a full-time job and then you to go out and still do all the self-producing and make an album and put yourself out there. But like,
Yeah.
you're achieving a dream through hard work and dedication. Now, speaking of that album, 2023, you produced the album, Time Travelers. What was it like to finally get your music kind of out there for people to have kind of like a tangible thing to hear your work?
It was awesome. I mean, I produced that album with my collaborator, whom I still work closely with, Thomas Hodges, who wrote the music for it, and we co-wrote "Break the Bone." And it was, I mean, I was scared the whole time doing that. It felt crazy to do it. And we have and had, during Time Travelers, like a very honest, like, okay, what is the thing in your head that like you're thinking and not saying? Like, let's say it before we go into the studio. So it was
Sure.
scary. It was a lot of work, but again, it felt validating. It felt because no matter how audacious we got, we figured it out. No matter how audacious the idea was, like, we got the opportunity, we found our way in, we did the work, and we did it thanks to and alongside beautiful community. You know, we had fundraiser parties in my apartment in Harlem. We had lots of people who were willing to ask their friends to contribute and say, you know, I believe in Ryan James Monroe and Thomas Hodges, and I believe in this project. So it was, I learned, I'd never been in a recording studio before. Like, I'd not done that. I was scared about that. Thomas had, so he had some words of wisdom, but we built an incredible network of musicians. We paid them well. It set the foundation for how I still operate my business. And it's, you know, I'm paying my musicians well, treating them well. Credit where it's due. Like, it is the belief. My parents will ask me a lot, like, again, and it's going to sound shady, but I know that it's not, because it's, they want the best for me. They want it to be successful. It's like, will you make any money on this concert? And I'll be like, no, but everybody else does. And I feel really good about that, because, and what I say to them
For
is that
sure.
someday, closer and closer, I'll get the biggest check, because it'll be my name that they're booking. And that will be because of this, of what I'm building. It's a longer game. It's how I'm building it. It's the intentionality beyond taking care of my people. And guess what? Like, I mean, my drummer for 54 Below, Chris McWilliams, I've headlined, I don't know, 13, 14 shows in the last 3 years, I think, in New York. And he's played, for every show that I've had a drummer except for one, he's played it. Like, and he's a Broadway musician. And like, you treat your people well, they come back, and they help make the music what it is. It's like, that was something that I just innately knew. Um, and I have found it to continue to be true.
And it's not only are you building up the community, but like you are investing in yourself by creating the experiences and creating the opportunities to continue performing. And
That's right.
that's payment. That's a huge payment as well. I mean, we'd like to get paid as well,
Absolutely.
but you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely. But and thank you for saying that, because it is true. It's like, when you have the best people surrounding you, that only makes you look good too. It's like, at the end of the day, when you come to 54 Below, you're coming to see Ryan James Monroe. And I'm surrounded by, and the show is awesome. And the reason you know it's going to be awesome is because I've hired brilliant people, and we love each other, and we love the work that we're doing, and we're all invested. I say to them at the beginning of every process, and I said it again when we had rehearsal a week ago. Um, my name's on the poster. I'm the headliner, sure, but we are doing this. Like, we are doing this. I might be in front of you, but you are literally a half a foot behind me. Like, you're there. And so I want you to bring as much as you're willing to bring of yourself to this. Like, if I say something funny when I'm talking, like, feel free to laugh. Like, you're there. You're a 3-dimensional person in a 3-dimensional room. So like, don't forget all of the rules of like, I'm back here, so I need to be back here. It's like, no. We are here. We are here. Like, absolutely. Yeah, so you're
we
right.
are a community.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to a show such as the performance at 54 Below, how do you develop, I guess I don't know much about, like, how do you decide how you're going to develop a show like this? Or how does it come to be to have a show such as the one at 54 Below?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's unique to everybody, but for me, I'm trying to take my music more and more into the direction of like recording artists, glam rock, shocking, high energy, epic sound. And so knowing that, like, and right after this, I go into the studio and I work on a single that will come out later this summer. And I don't know when yet, but later this summer. It is highly glam rock, that song that is going to come out. And so like, this
Sure.
show will start to like take my audience in that direction. They'll have the hits that they know from the shows that I've done from Time Travelers. They'll have some classics that they know from other artists that I'm covering. But it will be a whole new vibe. And so, and how I get there to making that decision is like, what do I, as Ryan, as an artist, need to want to have to say in this moment? And then I build the music around that. And I've learned over time that I don't build it like a cabaret. Like, I don't consider it is cabaret. Like, you can call it that. I always call it a concert. Like, I think that that's what it
Sure.
is. When I come to one of my shows, it is less cabaret and more concert. It is less theater and more music. And
Sure.
so I've learned, like, once I've decided like the direction, I'll start to build the set list. And through like getting to rehearsals and like going through a set list and thinking like, wow, this is really boring. Like, this is a boring show. I'm bored and I'm doing it. Like, that's crazy. I've learned that like, if I don't look at my set list and like get full body chills, I haven't found it yet.
Okay.
Sometimes it
So you
happens
feel it
soon.
from head to toe.
I do. Yeah. Yeah. Um, And it's usually when I like tap in and, am like just cranking it out and kind of just like vibing with what I want it to be. It's like, oh my God, I can like hear it, I can see it, it's fierce, and I can like, and then I have like a physical reaction. Um, and usually when I get to a rehearsal and it's like, oh my God, this is really boring. I haven't had that moment yet. And so sometimes it happens early that like I have that response and I'm like, cool, we've got it. Like it happened early with 54 Below. I made this set list and I made some changes and we made some tweaks. And we made some tweaks after the last rehearsal, but the majority of it is what I drafted the first time. And much to the dismay of my producer, like sometimes it means like the last show I did in 2025, I changed the set list significantly 2 days before the show. And
Last
like
minute.
yeah, it was crazy, but I was just like, it's wrong. And I knew that show, it was just me and my music director, Tracy Stark. And so it was just she and I. It wasn't a full band. And I was like, and I know that like we'll be okay. It might be a little crazy and it feels crazy. And like at sound check was like some of the like for a few songs was like the one and only time we did it before there was an audience. But there's a lot of trust in that, and that I have in her and that she has in me. And I know that like when we're vibing on stage together, like we're listening, we're responding. And, I screwed up. I think the second song in that show, I came in strong and wrong. Like I was totally off and I kept trying to go. And then I stopped and I did like the whole Adele moment where I was just like, okay, that's not it. Let's do it again. Absolutely not. I'm clearly not finding it. So let's just start
Right.
over, laugh about it and keep it moving. And in that moment, she didn't stop playing. She just went back to the beginning, and she very like cleverly and sneakily like put in the melody line into what she was playing. I was like, thank God, because I still don't have it. I still don't have it, and she knew it. But she played it, and I said, great. And now here we are. So here we go. Yeah.
So when you have a show like this, you mentioned that you're kind of taking them from what audiences kind of know from previous shows. You're kind of going to this glam rock. Do you have like when you're choosing the I guess the order of the songs? Is there like a narrative thread or a theme that you're trying to take the audience on?
No, like
Okay,
yeah, not really. I think of it more as, it's kind of I think what makes it more concert and less theater. It's like there
yeah,
isn't a storyline. Like I'll know what I'll want to say about a couple of songs but there will not be like perfectly formed cue line. And then music begins, it's like that won't happen.
sure, yeah,
It'll be me gabbing on stage. And more often than not, I'll do a show. I'm like, so clearly I didn't rehearse this. But I had to tell this story. So here we are. So let's just begin. Let's not try to be clever. Let's just start the song. So no, like it
I love
really,
that.
like I think about it as an event, if that makes sense. I
Sure,
think about it like, my shows feel, it's more of a vibe and a feeling, I think, than a theatrical moments. I mean, it is highly theatrical. It's very dramatic, but like one of the best compliments I've ever gotten, I was at the Duplex years ago and I was in line for the bathroom and this woman came up to me. She didn't speak English. She taps me on the shoulder and she goes, I don't speak English, but I feel, thank you. And I said, damn.
oh,
So this woman had no idea what I was saying, but she had an experience that moved her and moved her enough to tell me in broken English that she had a profound moment. I was like, and that's it. Like that's what's up. So it's like like my signature is I start my shows with the breath, like the audience like breathes together and we kind of like sync. So it becomes spiritual. It becomes communal. And I'm forever making eye contact with the audience. Like there is no fixed point on the wall. I don't do that. So again, like I said, with my band, it's like, by the way, you're sitting 2 feet from me. You're also here and I can see you. So yeah, it's just, it comes back to like, I respond to the moment that we're in a little
yeah,
bit, in an artistic way. I respond to the moment that I'm in the belief that like, if I'm going through it, somebody else is probably going through it. If like my song Break the Bone is all about taking off your armor and it's that moment of The story I was telling about, like I left my job, it fell on my face, pandemic happened, I was unemployed, I started therapy, was like I was considering that moment, like this is the moment where I'm breaking the bone of my life in order to realign it. Um, and then that song came, and so it's just life. Like that's the theme, I guess. If I had to pick one, it's life, and we're here for an hour and 20 minutes together. So let's laugh, let's cry, um, and have a good time. That's it.
Which I think that it's fairly reflective of the work that you've done. I mean, again, when I said authenticity, like you're very authentic. You're very, you know, some of your songs have that deeply personal tone that people can relate to. Those universal experiences that everybody has, no matter if it's the same type of experience, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
to be able to have that moment in a room like 54 Below, which I'll be honest, I only got to go to 54 Below for the first time this past November, and it is truly an experience. You're sitting there, everybody can see each other. You're,
Oh yeah.
you're one with the person on stage, so that has to be cool to be able to have this personal experience with so many people in such a
Oh yeah.
small, intimate area.
Oh yeah. It's crazy. I mean, it feels the audience we'll all go on an emotional journey together. It will be it's always profound. It's always um affirming. It's celebratory. We laugh a lot. It's like, you'll be laughing 1 second and sobbing the next. It's like it really is. But the seed that I kind of planted with my debut solo show 3-4 years ago, whatever it was, 4 years ago, I guess now, um, was like at the end of the day, like you should leave here knowing that like you're not alone. Like if nothing else for this hour and a half, at least we're very close to the same page. It's that moment of the breath. It's like, cool. Well, when somebody on stage tells you to breathe, unless you're really like, wow, this is some hippie bullshit, like I'm not doing it. Like, unless you're taking that stance, which you're probably not on my show if you're doing that, but like,
Correct.
for one moment, we're breathing together. So even if you don't get on the same page the rest of the show, you had 30 seconds with 150 people, you were on the same page.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, Ryan, and chatting with me about your show. We are so excited for you to arrive at 54 Below, but thank you for being here to chat with us.
For sure. Thank you.
So Ryan James Monroe is performing at 54 Below on August 11th, so get your tickets now and we'll see you at the show.